Hello and welcome to What the F*** Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Manchin. Let's get to it. It's Wednesday, September 8th, 2021. Welcome to day 232. Attorney General Merrick Garland said the Justice Department is exploring all options when it comes to challenging Texas's restrictive abortion law, just days after the Supreme Court refused to block a statute that bans the procedure as early as 6 weeks into the pregnancy, with no exceptions for rape or incest. Garland said, "We will not tolerate violence against those seeking to obtain or provide reproductive health services. The department will provide support from federal law enforcement when an abortion clinic or reproductive health center is under attack." Garland added that the Justice Department would protect the constitutional rights of women and other persons under the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act, a 1994 law that guarantees access for people who are seeking to enter reproductive health clinics. A United Nations human rights group also condemned the Texas anti-abortion law, calling it structural sex and gender-based discrimination at its worst. Moving on, the United States surpassed more than 40 million total cases of the coronavirus, about a fifth of the global total. COVID-19 deaths in the United States, meanwhile, have climbed to a 7-day average of about 1,500 per day. In early July, the 7-day average of daily deaths was in the low 200s. Meanwhile, an estimated 7.5 million people lost all of their jobless benefits after 3 federal pandemic unemployment programs expired. Another 3 million people lost a $300 per week federal supplement to their state unemployment benefits. The Washington Post says more than 32% of Americans live in a county that experienced a weather disaster in the last 3 months. Another 64% of Americans live in a place that experienced a multi-day heat wave. Meanwhile, Biden asked Congress for $30 billion to address urgent extreme weather recovery efforts and to help fund the resettlement of tens of thousands of Afghans. The White House wants $24 billion in additional funding to help recovery efforts for wildfires and hurricanes, and $6.4 billion for Afghan refugee aid as part of its short-term budgetary request to Congress to help keep the government running past September 30th. The Biden administration also outlined a plan for solar energy to supply 45% of the nation's electricity by the year 2050. Solar currently accounts for about 3% of the U.S. electricity supply. The ambitious plan requires the nation's solar capacity to double every year through 2025 and then double again by 2030. The Solar Futures study from the Department of Energy also shows that by 2035, solar has the potential to power all American homes and to employ as many as 1.5 million people, all without raising electricity costs for consumers. Meanwhile, Chuck Schumer rejected Senator Joe Manchin's call for a strategic pause on Biden's $3.5 trillion tax and spend package. Schumer said, "We're moving full speed ahead. We want to keep going forward. We think getting this done is so important for the American people." Manchin has privately warned the White House and congressional leaders that he'll support about $1.5 trillion of the $3.5 trillion plan. Moving on, an internal Capitol Police memo warned of potential violence at an upcoming pro-Trump rally to support the insurrectionists who were charged in the January 6th riots. The Justice for J6 rally organizers argue that the hundreds of people charged in the insurrection are political prisoners. Nancy Pelosi accused those of planning to participate in the rally of coming back to praise the people who were out to kill during the January 6th attack by a pro-Trump mob. The rally is scheduled for September 18th outside the Capitol. And finally, the Biden administration told 11 officials appointed by Trump to military service academy advisory boards to resign or be dismissed. The officials asked to resign include Sean Spicer, Kellyanne Conway, and H.R. McMaster. They were appointed to the advisory boards of the Naval Academy, the Air Force Academy, and West Point, respectively. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Manchin.